Hey, welcome to another episode of the Blackout Tips podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
And we're live on a Saturday, ready
We
to do
are.
feedback. Okay, that's when you guys write in and say stuff, and then we reply to it.
Mm-hmm.
However you said it. Emails, voicemails, comments on our website, YouTube, 5-star reviews, whatever you had to say. We got something to say too.
We do.
The official weapon of the show is
The folding chair.
an unofficial sport,
bullet ball.
a bullet ball, extreme. All right. The first people we like to shout out are the people that took the time out to put a little money in our pocket by just going to the blackguywhotips.com, looking on the right hand side of the website, turn your phone sideways if you're on the phone. And then you can just donate one-time recurring donations, any amount. We don't care. Y'all get a shout out.
Mm-hmm.
May I have your attention? You are now listening to Charlotte's Own, Rod and Karen. We welcome the good folks who tithe to the Black Guy Who Tips.
That's right. New pay, new good days. Asia D, recurring donator. Chriselle B, Don G, Tom W, Jr., Michael S, David from Brooklyn, Julian N, Dana R, Bomani Jones from the Right Time Podcast, Laura E, Noel W, Pete B, and lastly Johanna M. Thank you everybody that came through and put a little something in the collection plate. All right. We also got one new 5-star review.
Yay, I'll take it.
All we ask is that it's 5 stars and that you're nice to us.
Yeah. Be nice, cause if you talking crazy, I'm blind to it.
Right. And this one, I don't think it's that nice. I'll let Karen be the judge.
Okay.
Meh, 5 stars. Meh, 5 stars, cause y'all black by Jules Vega 79. I don't know if it's that nice.
No, it ain't starting off nice.
Okay, well, there you go, guys. Jules Vega 79. That was the whole review. And he just got y'all more commercials. So enjoy this commercial break coming up.
That wasn't nice, y'all.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm
Jules.
not me.
You let everybody down, you piece of shit. Those commercials brought to you by Jules and his shitty review. Or there, or her. I don't know. All right. We got comments on our website, theblackouttips.com. You can go to each episode. You can go to each episode and leave comments. It's that simple. There's a post for each one. The first one for last week was 3128 Emotional Support Podcast. We got 7 comments.
Okay.
Apia wrote the first 2. I wonder how this works for y'all. But like sometimes some of y'all leave 2-3 comments in a row. Is it y'all don't finish listening to the episode, you just send it, and then you think about something later?
For some people, yeah.
I just wonder how that works, because you would think that it would just be one comment, but they're like literally in a row, like 17 minutes apart.
Yeah, because sometimes I think people listen in like real time and they type something, and we've had comments before where people
and they don't want to like save it for one document, so they just submit 2-3 comments.
Yeah, and then some people come back and be like, "Oh, you touched what I said."
Well, they're not replies. I'm saying when a person leaves 2 in a row for themselves, and there's not a like nothing happened between them.
Right. Like there's nothing between. Yeah, because we've had people leave a comment and then leave another comment and be like, "Oh, I listened some more. You actually responded to what I said."
I see what you mean.
So sometimes when people listen, they actually listen like in real time. So they're kind of commenting on our posts in real time.
I get it. Apia says, I thought a lot about what the right amount of news consumption is, what's morally right. Yeah, like a true rule breaker. Here you go, being a wild card, loose cannon Napier. As a child, I thought someone who sits at breakfast and reads multiple newspapers was an intellectual, informed person, and I wanted to be this way. Maybe it was better without the internet here, no social media debates on politics, but this is not my point. The act to consume less news felt in the beginning as if I betrayed the version of smart me. Now I'm over it because I know that reading news nonstop and being on social media is directly linked to my mood dropping extremely and my anxiety rising, and I really don't want that, especially seeing there isn't really anything for me to do, and conflicts the media reports I'll never get a resolution. Even if a situation improves, they don't want to admit it. They say it's unsure if newfound resolution will remain because of XY. While I'm still thinking about a catastrophe from 2 weeks ago, my brain gets stuck on things. It's her favorite catastrophes. Everyone seems to have moved on to new awful things. This approach doesn't work for my brain. Now I don't consume news, go always to vote in an election. I have downloaded the Brilliant app, an app. It teaches math, science, computer science, and data analysis. My brain can get stuck on that, and it does. Great side effect. I learn things to get smarter. I must comment again about antidepressants and suicidal thoughts. This is how it works. Your motivation under the SSRI improves before your mood. So before you have been too depressed to do anything. But in the first 2 weeks of taking them, you get your drive back. Unfortunately, the outlook on life can still be very dark. It will get better in the next 2 weeks. It's important to know it before you starting them to understand your thoughts. I know some people personally very well, a friend who experienced this. So that sounds like a very bad combination or scary combination. Is your motivation improves, but your depression stays the same for the first couple of weeks and your mood hasn't changed. So it's like, I can see how maybe that will make you feel almost more determined to end it, because now you had this newfound motivation to act on these thoughts that haven't fully, transitioned into something more positive.
Right.
EVE says, to piggyback on what you said, Rod, about people used to listening to low information shows, in reference to this person writing in to tell you to stop correcting Karen. Nothing against them, but I also think people are so caught up in real life gender wars that when they see couples asking for clarification, they see it as toxic. They're not used to seeing a healthy discourse between a man and a woman who actively listen and respect each other when they're having a conversation. I've been listening to shows for years now, and I've heard Karen correct or ask for clarification from you as well. Mm-hmm. And that's why the show is so good. Neither of you gets defensive if that happens. Even when listeners write in to clarify, you're always open to that as well. The only thing Rod continues to be wrong about is the misinformation he spreads about Arby's. They have the meats. Well, honestly... Now, what's honestly interesting about that is because so many of y'all will say stuff like that. Y'all are misinterpreting me. I've never said that Arby's was nasty or the food don't taste good. That's not what I'll be talking about. I just think it's drug laundering operation. That's all. No one's ever in there, and it's true. So you can enjoy them. What are they selling now? Burnt rib tips.
Something. Yeah,
some
rib
shit,
something.
Rib nuggets. I don't know what it doesn't matter what they sell because
they selling something.
I've never met anyone who's tried that shit, but they continue to stay in business. They are buying other businesses that have more people in them. So I don't know what kind of Gus Fring bullshit is happening in there, but like that's not my business. Okay, just y'all enjoy your Arby's. Just stop writing in and acting like it's not what it is, a criminal organization. Rona Raphael says, I second everything you said on clarifying. Preach, sis. Now, if Arby's PayPal me that meat money, I'll stand with you 100%. Until then, I can't support a money laundering business. Rona Raphael says, shout out to the best podcast in the world. I'm back in New York City. Goddamn, it's hot in American streets. I lost weight trying to walk within a day of coming back. The Baraba Quran might just run for office and invest in the natural cooling of our streets, fresh off of the plain idea. Oh, on my last night in Dutchland, I was treated to drinks at a harbor, and I kept thinking about how great a TV show would have crimes happening at a beautiful harbor. Y'all inspire me. Shoe Booty says, emotional support podcast. The politics till we get mad segment works so much because you really do not normalize a very abnormal climate we are in. You're not making the rise of fascism business as usual like CNN and other political outlets and podcasts seem to be doing. You have the outrage one would expect. Yeah, it's kind of scary too. I guess, we didn't live through all these times, so I couldn't have known, but it's kind of scary how normal some of this shit gets treated, where like it's complete political corruption, and like it's reported on our news without the there's no outrage, there's no shock. It's
There's
just kind of
no disgust.
like it's and especially not your opinion news. Like I don't like I'm sure Maddow is still, doing her thing. But I mean, like, if you watch it, for me, local Charlotte news, sometimes they have to cover things, that the government did. Period. It's not and it's the local news. I don't expect them to give me an opinion. They just cover it. But the things that they're covering have grown more and more like alarming. And so they'll be like, the Trump administration has started ICE raids in our city, and they are not cooperating with the police, and they have not been informed. And it's just like, that's just a thing that happened on Wednesday.
Yup.
And it's not, they go out, they interview a couple people, some lawyers in the city or something, but it's not the alarming thing you would think. I think it really brings home how, I've always thought about and heard people, kind of, I think with a level of privilege, be like, oh, if this happened in my country, I just do blank, we do this. No, I don't know how this can ever happen in a country. And I'm like, I'm living in a country where I feel like fascism is happening every single day, worse and worse. And we're still talking sports, and we're still talking, just reporting the news, and we're covering it like, the president's in the Epstein files, and that's just like kind of another story that to be covered. It's not like a why hasn't he been impeached today type of thing. No one's even saying the words impeachment. Like it's a very very interesting time.
And the thing is, the tactics are the same. And everybody, I continue to say this, everybody thinks there are exceptions to these rules when it comes to certain things. They're not. And the thing is, if it happened before, it can happen again. If the populace is uneducated and don't really know how these things happen, this is a lot of times why historians and people who like covered these things and like they went to school, got all types of fucking degrees, are like, hey, our boxes are being checked. And the thing is, the normalization of this, we've seen it normalized. We have tapes, we have histories. Ken Burn done cover it. The shit was normalized, and it didn't get normalized overnight. It was a slow burning process. It was making people feel like this shit was okay, making people feel like this shit was normal, making people look at somebody else that you can step on so that you think this shit will never impact you. It's a trick bag. And as long as the populace in mass thinks that they are an exception to the rule, fascism will come and rise, and before you know, nobody has any powers, nobody has any rights, democracy is gone, and everybody that had all these things to say will be looking at me and was like, damn, where the rights go? And people like me are gonna be furious because I was like, well, I seen them slipping away and you were doing everything else but paying fucking attention to the goddamn boat sinking. That's how this shit happens.
Yeah, I think also there's a element of it that I think people are almost in denial, and
Yes.
also they just really did not understand the warning of like, no, when this evil takes office, it will be normalized. It won't be what you're talking about with all the outrage and the marches and the there won't be a liberal revolution. No one's gonna go slit the throats of all the rich people and attack, run up on all the politics. They're not gonna do that.
No, they're not.
And the tenor of our society won't be that way. It'll be, this is normal, this is natural, this is just how things are supposed to go, because that's who's in charge.
Yes, and also particularly with our country, all jokes aside, we're a very overall civil country, and people don't want to admit that. Most of us follow the rules. Majority of us follow the rules. We pay our taxes. So when the policy up top change, whoever the top change, we continue to follow the rules. When you have somebody that goes, I don't care about your rules, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, guess what the populace does? Continue to follow the rules. So whatever fucked up rules that they do, they will follow the rules. In other parts of the world, this is how you have rebellions. Shout out to Star Wars. This is how you have people fighting back. This is how you have, people, quote unquote, taking over the government. I don't want to live somewhere where whoever takes it over will dictate how this country runs. I want this country to run like it's supposed to run, by and for the people, not according to who has the most guns and who can go and just fucking take over the government. Like, I don't want to live anywhere. Like, I personally don't want to live anywhere like that.
Yeah, and the people with the guns are not the people whose politics align with our side anyway. So like,
Right.
it's always been a stupid fantasy. And it's just escapism. It's wishing for another solution that isn't us all taking the personal responsibility of voting and being involved in politics and being involved in our government. It's always looking for escape that is not that. It's got to be some other magical answer. But there's no Star Wars revolution happening. There's no, the violence would not come from our side. You're not willing to kill somebody for this shit.
Right.
So like, why are we kidding ourselves? We're behind podcast mics. We're paying our taxes. Like, just I just hate it. It just seems like such a bullshit way to get out of talking about what is boring, but what works.
Right. And there's also the thing is, particularly once you get down to a lot of this shit, a lot of the spotlight on me shit dissipates, and the populace is addicted to social media, and they're addicted to turning the cameras on themselves, myself included. Like, and nobody's exception to this rule. We're all addicted to it. And when you start kind of being like, hey, I gotta take personal responsibility, all of a sudden the spotlight ain't on me. Hey, I gotta think about community.
Some opinions aren't sexy as others. Our opinions that we're giving right now, these are not sexy opinions. We can't we put this out on the internet. It's not gonna go viral. If anything, maybe some people will be more like, fuck them, but it won't be like some, yes, this is what I'm talking about. Why can't we get behind this message? But if we were here, it's like, eat the rich, kill all the landlords, that would have a bigger chance of going viral, because it is, as unrealistic and ridiculous as it is, it's the thing that is more bombastic, and people want the bombastic, like, dopamine hit from saying those things and getting that attention. But they don't want the unsexy, like, do you go to your local community municipal meetings? Like, what? Hey, when's the last time you checked out your town hall? Who's on your school board? Like, that shit is not sexy. But saying, like,
it requires work.
I can't wait for the people to get in the streets and run up on the, okay, sure, which people?
Yeah, are you? No, not you. When people say that, they always imagine it being somebody else. And also the delusion, when you talk about the distraction, a lot of that eat the rich and all that stuff, a lot of that delusion is a distraction, because it makes you look at people who have more than you and say they're the problem, and look at the people who have less than you and say they're the problem. And never at no period of time do you look and you say, how do I contribute to the problem? It's everybody else is the problem but me.
Even when it's like, people are gonna get in the streets, and like you said, they thinking it's somebody else, not themselves, right? Because you can go get a gun permit, you can get in the streets. You're not going to.
Yes, you can.
But even when it's somebody else, they imagine that somebody else has their exact politics, but is willing to do violence. They never imagine that somebody else is one of those guys from the fucking, that ranch that they had like years ago, where they were like, we ain't paying government taxes, and pulled out some
like
guns
Bundy
and shit,
or something like that.
Yeah, the Bundy Ranch. Like, they don't imagine that guy, because they know that guy's politics don't line up with theirs. But that's who got the guns and want to fight the government.
That's who got the guns.
January 6th. That's who got the guns and want to fight the government. It's not y'all. I'm with Karen. I'm never going to not be mad that they forced Biden out of the race. I keep getting text messages to donate to the Dems. I'm a liberal Democrat through and through, but nah, fuck all the way off with that. Go ask for your rich puppet masters like Clooney for that money, because I ain't got it. Go ask Clooney for that coin, since his little comments can make or break a candidate, apparently. Get the fuck out of here begging me for my hard-earned dollars already, when you're just going to do whatever you want and not act in a way that's truly what the constituency has in mind. Yeah, I think what has been interesting, and I'm really surprised more. I just think that we've seen that money can't buy an election, really. And nobody wants to admit it. Even with the Supreme Court allowing corporations to give as much money as they want, as if they're individuals. That's not why you win or lose an election. You win or lose based on people going to vote. And
going to the polls.
We like to say an advertisement or not advertisement is why someone wins an election. But I feel like, once again, that's another one of those working backwards from the results situations. People will say stuff like Donald Trump had a great ad with transphobia in it, and what a great ad. I don't agree with it, but a great ad. Show me the person whose mind was changed. Where's the numbers? We're not keeping track of this. We have no way to know. We just say it worked because we
saw the results.
We're making a connection of people are transphobic to this transphobic ad works. To which I would say people are transphobic, full stop. We're giving credit to an ad. And it's just the way that political punditry, political advertiser people, consultants, it's how they justify their job. They're not going to ever say it didn't work. I've seen great ads on both sides, but no one stopped and said, you know what, so and so lost an election, but their ad game was fucking pretty tight. No one ever says that. We work backwards. Whoever won must have had the best ad. So if the ads was just a picture of the other candidate with shit coming out of their ass and onto their face, we're like, that must have been a great ad. But I don't know that the ads, I don't know that the money donations, I mean, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not saying they don't help in some ways that like just grease the wheels of like, hey, we need to pay for travel. We need to pay our volunteers. But this, this idea that it's just like, spend this much money, win the election. I don't know that I think that idea should die. I don't think it's true. Maldani and what he's doing in New York right now. I think the people always speak. Now, if the people don't feel inspired, it is an emotional thing. There is something there, but I don't know that an ad does it. Not, especially now when we are so siloed that we're not necessarily even having the same experience.
Nope.
Yeah, you watch your local news and you see some ads, but a lot of people don't even watch their local news.
Nope.
You stream something on Hulu and you see some political ads in your area, but in another area of the country, they're not seeing those ads at all. Or they're seeing the other candidates' ads, or they pay the extra $2 and they don't see ads.
Yeah, they like, I won't see no ads, right?
So I don't actually know that what of those things really work, but yeah. She also says, I'm going to start checking out those isekai animes. I'm a never watched anime girl, but I'm interested based on the comments here. Not sure if you saw this, but my daughter just got into K-pop Demon Hunters on Netflix, and I got to admit, it slaps. I'm rocking out to Soda Pop now. This was my gateway into K-pop, I guess.
I started that one. It actually looks really, really fun. It's bright, it's colorful. If you love K-pop, you would actually really enjoy this. Like I said, I haven't got that deep into it, but it was like number 1, number 2 on Netflix. I turned on I won't say it was Netflix if I'm not mistaken, and it was just like everywhere, and I kept saying, "Ooh, let me check this out." So that right there is good. The thing about anime, whatever you like in like real life, is anime on it. So just kind of, you're not trying fun. If you want to get introduced, just be like mystery crimes anime. They'll come up. Like whatever you like, it's animation on it.
All right, and then we got YouTube comments, which I didn't read any of yet. So I just saw that somebody had a comment that got 3 replies. I'm like, oh damn. Dark Namja emojis. Then another excellent feedback show. Thank you, buddy. Joseph says, Rod, I can certainly say that it was gender sensitivity and ego for me. Also, so Joseph must have been the person that wrote in about like, why are you correcting Karen? I'm a fairly new listener. I can admit that I did see you all through the lens of my own trauma and distrust at first. The person who recommended y'all to me reassured me, and I continue to watch. So I now know that you both love and like each other and yourselves enough to never diminish anyone nor allow anyone to diminish you. I also think people sometimes attach our value of being right because that is how we earn various rewards throughout life. So when we perceive someone's points being questioned or challenged, sometimes we think the challenger is coming for their value. Shit, that's deep. Mm-hmm. That's deep, and that is true.
Yes, yeah. Like, and the thing is human nature to want those rewards. A good girl, good boy type of thing, to feel like you're fighting on somebody else's behalf. Which, because some people, they're fighters. Like, this is what I do. If I see something that I think that's wrong, I feel like I need to fight for this person, kind of regardless of if they ask for me to fight on their behalf or not. So, baby, like, I get that. And also, shout out to you. I appreciate you for writing back in, because a lot of times people leave comments like this and we don't ever hear from them again. in. So I appreciate you writing back in and kind of, explaining yourself, because, we've been doing this for a long time, and everybody's human beings. So we understand that, our relationship is very different, and we're a very loving couple and things like that. And a lot of people, when they see certain things, particularly between men and women and interactions, like you say, people's past traumas, be it their family members, be it something they personally went through or whatever, these things can jump up out of you. So baby, I get it. It's a natural response.
And also, like, I love what you said about the value system of it, because I think about this a lot, how, especially in America, but it's probably everywhere, but intelligence is treated with a scarcity mindset, meaning like they can't we have to have a hierarchy and an order of intelligence, meaning I can't have a conversation with you where we both walk away and go, well, they made good points, I made good points, but we just arrived at different conclusions. No, right. I have to beat you.
Yes, I have to win.
Yeah, I have to win. Someone has to acknowledge they lost this exchange somehow. There can't be more than one type of intelligence in the conversation. So if you're speaking from a quote unquote logical place of intelligence and someone else is speaking from an emotional place of intelligence, both those can't exist in the same conversation. It's like, no. One of these has to have a hierarchy over the other. That kind of thing. And I always think about this thing I wrote for Game Theory when I was applying for that job. And I wrote about, it was about Kyrie Irving, but the final point of it was, sometimes we're like, this person is the smartest person in the classroom because they got the highest grade on the SAT or whatever. And we go, that person is smart. And we all agree they're smart. But then there's like some shit where like everybody's kind of smart. So like when you cross the street, you should look both ways before crossing.
Yes, you should.
Now that's not only the smartest person will do that. Everyone should do that. And it is smart. The few people who don't do it, we're looking at like, damn, that's dangerous. That was risky. That was dumb. So what I'm saying is, like, if you don't approach intelligence with a scarcity mindset, there's no need to like beat people. We all hope we all look both ways before crossing the street. When we get on these microphones, we're all hoping that we're making good points that are intelligent, that we will be able to convey to an audience that isn't necessarily here with us. So we're trying to be explaining and concise, but also like thorough. And so, yeah, sometimes it helps when you have a co-host who can stand in for the audience and be like, hey, what do you mean? Because if I'm confused, Karen's confused. If Karen's confused, I'm confused. Like the audience is confused. Like we don't, not everything, because there's a lot of conversations we could have, just never tip y'all in on. And it would just sound like me and Karen having a husband-wife conversation. Y'all be like, I don't even know what the fuck they were talking about. But, that's not the show. We have to convey some things to the audience.
Yeah, and also it's one of those things where we live in a society where, truth be told, particularly with social media, and a lot of these, I get it, y'all, but a lot of these, I'm never wrong, I never forgive, I'm petty type of people. That shit has rolled over into other genres. And so when you have two people that are talking to each other, I know I don't know everything. I know I'm not the smartest person in the room. I will admit that I'm wrong. But a lot of people in those groups, those things are the opposite of what those things stand for.
Yeah.
And so when people look at us, they're bringing a lot of this trauma and drama and shit to us. And they want us to reflect those values back out. And they think that there's something wrong with us when we don't.
Yeah, and one thing I've learned is how to put up boundaries around that. I'm not responsible for the trauma that other people have gone through. I'm not responsible to navigate my world based on your trauma. I don't even know what yours is. I don't know what the impact has been in your life.
Right.
I'm just here to try to be respectful and communicate as clearly as possible. If you can't take it, that's fine. Go find something else. That's fine.
Yeah, and also I think particularly with me, and the thing is, because like you say, men and women, husbands, wife, people hear certain things. I interrupt you way more. Truthfully, if people listen to the show enough, I interrupt you way more than you interrupt me. I ask you to explain shit way more than you ask me to explain shit, because a lot of times you're talking, and I'm not trying to be funny, you use big words sometimes, and sometimes I don't really understand. So I'll be like, hey, what does that word mean? So I can get the context of what you're explaining, because I know if I'm asking, somebody else would like to know it too, because sometimes they're just, maybe they just might be words foreign to me, because we all have had life experiences and all have had different things. And so, you know, I am a type of person, but kind of, and back to child, because the way I grew up, I want you to explain it to me. So if something happened, we turn these mics off, I want to be able to regurgitate it again and be able to know that I truly understood what you meant, versus like a lot of people, and then don't know what the fuck you told them.
Yeah, and then like, and there's nothing that can be done about it, really, because like, you know, there's times when you're explaining stuff and people are on YouTube looking at my face and like projecting onto me like, oh, he wants her to shut up. Oh, he hates when she talks. I'm like, there's something in you missing, because it's not me.
He's
and
listening.
Yeah, and this isn't this isn't a TV show. We haven't been coached by actors. It's not a multi-camera setup where when
there's
Karen's,
no training. I'm sorry, y'all.
Yeah, what y'all are seeing is me listening. You know, I'm supposed to be looking in the camera like, yes, interesting, wow, yes.
Haven't been to coaching class.
And meanwhile, I'm producing the show as well. We don't have a producer, so
Right.
I'm reading the next comment. I'm looking at the next segment. I'm looking at the time. I'm checking the recording. Like, a lot is happening. So, Kim Doc says, reply to this: breaking with you, breathing. Oh, because they said everybody breathe with me. LOL. Appreciate you, Joseph. Like Karen said, it was very nice of you to write back in. Most people either don't write back in at all, or, you know, some of them a lot of times, well, not a lot of times, but some of them will even get offended and shit. And it's like,
that wasn't the purpose.
Yeah, especially if I didn't say or do anything to offend you, in my opinion. Kim Doc says, breathing with you, Rod and Karen. I actually love when they get to explain and flesh out things when I also have questions in my mind. Listening to them for all these years, I don't have to wonder about the heart and compassion they have. It's a shared and kindred bond that I think the Blackout Tips audience and family share, and that's even when we might disagree. Yeah, because it's not, disagreeing isn't the problem. Just no one wants to be disrespected, really.
Right.
And of course, you know, listening is important, because, and the reason I think listening is important is because a lot of times it's not even when people disagree, it's that they misunderstood. Yes. And you know what helps people not misunderstand? Clarification.
Yes.
And so if you don't see clarification as an attack, it actually saves time. I would say the majority of the time when people ask about some sort of clarification or something in the show, I'll even say it in real time where I'm like, I want this clarified so we don't get somebody misunderstanding later.
Right.
I may even understand it right now, but I'm like, I know a motherfucker later, because we've always had it. People are listening, they're on their phones, they're driving, they're working, they're barely paying attention, and they write in going off, and it's like, that didn't happen. Bella Bell Q5T responded, I get that you like the show, but I don't get how you all don't see that Rod goes off on everyone who writes in that shares any critique of him or this show, even if it's fair. To dedicate a weekly show to feedback, just to call people motherfuckers or yell for however long, really?
See? Prime example.
Shit that does not happen. Shit that did not happen.
Right.
Hoping to get me to go off or get some type of emotional response.
Right.
Then maybe pick through feedback and only share those that's favorable, like he does the reviews. Once again, I've read every comment, including this comment. Now, that being said, I do not mind being like, oh, hide this user from channel. Don't read this review. Because this is not the whipping post.
Nope.
I will never be on here like getting disrespected and treating all content, all replies the same. Some replies are literally just low quality.
Yes, they are.
They just want to get a response. This person right here making up shit. You know, people that don't even listen to this show, racist people.
Yes.
People that disrespect Karen to hope to get a rise out of me.
Yes.
That kind of stuff. We've been doing this 16 years, homie. That kind of stuff happens over the years. And so we've adjusted our feedback. Now, what people aren't used to is that y'all listen to mostly low quality shows.
Right.
Who are just happy to have some response, something to go off on. We don't actually need anybody to say anything negative for us to have a good show.
Agreed.
We make a living off of this and we're going to be just fine. So if the critique is fair, if it like as you implied that it could be, fine. But if it's just lying and like everyone who has a critique, Rod is called a motherfucker, then I know that you're not a righteous person and that you're just like a person that want to be hidden from the channel. So you get to continue to say stuff. No one's going to ever see it again. But like, congrats. And shout out to Joseph who did reply to this. We can agree to disagree because you're right. I don't see that he goes off on everyone who has a critique. I also don't see that he picks through the comments. Seem like he reads all of them. Thank you, Joseph.
You do. And also, something that I realize, and people, it's hard for people to understand. Just like you're human and you're hearing what we say, when you guys write in, we're reading shit. And I don't know why people do not expect us to have feelings and have comments on the things that you write into us. Right. It's almost like they're surprised that we say something and it's not loving and glowing just because you walked your ass through the door.
Honestly though, Karen, I think that's giving them too much credit. Because a person like that, unless they are not a smart person, right?
Right.
And I would say that kind of person is typically not a good faith person.
No, they're not.
And I would say most of the time, if there's ever a comment that where it's like, man, they went off on that comment, I would say it's because we sensed it's not good faith, not because it was disagreeing.
Because it's not good faith.
EVE writes in every week disagreeing about shit.
Yes.
Everyone who writes in has put out disagreements.
Yes, they have.
Some and many Sean, who we joke back and forth.
Yes.
You know, it's not just you have to write in and agree. But it's when you're like they expect a nice response. I don't think they do. I think even that person that just wrote that was hoping to prove their point.
Yes.
With me being like, you motherfucker. Oh, how can you write in? But then write fuck you, bitch, or whatever. Like something they need. There's
something in there.
I found this in my lifetime. I'm not a mean person, but I also will stand my ground on people and I won't like mince my words.
Right.
And I'm pretty accurate and concise with my language in a way that it is cutting to people.
Yes.
Not necessarily that the goal is to cut you, but but I'm saying if the goal is to cut you, I'm going to cut you. If it's going to make some people feel bad because I'm not backing down, I'm not pulling my punches.
And I love people like that. Yeah.
I know in general, a lot of people, I'd say most people kind of do, especially those who want to be like more progressive liberal people. They pride themselves on like, well, listen, all criticism is valid. If that's how you feel, then then your feelings are valid. And I'm a person that's like, no, that's not. And what you said didn't happen. And people will really have their feelings hurt. I used to go back and forth with people back in the day, write emails and stuff. But that's when I used to think there was like a convincing of people. But I realized over time, like, no, some people are just this way.
Yes.
They like negative attention if they can't get any other attention.
Agreed.
But you know me, you know my motto.
I want to make my mama proud. You guys are not doing anything with your life. You may not see it, but I'm trying to accomplish something. And you guys are preventing me from that. All y'all haters. Like, I'm trying to accomplish my dreams. If you don't like me, just block me. I didn't do anything to you.
It's that simple. Shout out to that white girl.
Lovely Lynn 96 says, excellent podcast. Thank you. The girl on the other side of the road said, when Rod didn't ask Karen to clarify about the hot dog toppings, and when Rod asked Karen to clarify her answer. So it's like, and the emojis are like fighting emojis. So it's like when Rod didn't ask Karen to clarify about her hot dog toppings, everybody was ready to fight me. And then when I did ask her, like, what did you mean by that? It's now they ready to fight me again. It's like how can there always be a fight?
Oh, baby. Oh, to go back to what you were saying before too, about, people and their personalities and things like that. And when you were saying how you're very plain and kind of, I personally call it flat-footed, maybe because I'm old with how you feel. Like, this is how I feel, blah, 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 blah. I am to the point where I like for people to tell me how they feel about things. And we live in a society where everybody wants everything sugar coated, everything bubble wrapped, everything to make them motherfucking feel good. I'd rather you tell me you don't like me, so we both know where we stand. I'd rather you like, let's cut through the muck and the mire and the bullshit. Most people are used to people who they like the back and forth, they like the jousting, and you're like, no, we're not doing this. This is how I feel. And that's it. And a lot of times people aren't used to telling people really how they feel, because when most people have conversations with people, they're not actually telling the truth a lot of times. And so when you're like, this is how I feel, these are the opinions that I have, they're taken aback because they're used to like you say, having those debates, having that back and forth to quote unquote have the conversation.
Yeah, with all the platitudes that come along with it.
Yes.
I think also, like, we've been doing this a long time.
Yes, we have.
I lean on my 16 years of experience over any one comment. Like, I know when somebody's being a fucker and when they're not. Like, and I don't know what to tell you. Like, very rarely has it been like a damn, man, I think I went too far. What I will do for my years of experience is cut people off down the road where I'm like, I don't need to drive the whole mileage with you to know you were trying to be a jerk.
Right.
I'm honestly not that bad compared to, I think, many other people. I think and I'm not that vulgar and cussing people out. What if you really pay attention, I rarely name call.
Right.
It's very rare that I name call people motherfuckers and pieces of shit, all that. That's not even, to me, that's not, if I was trying to hurt your feelings, those aren't the hurtful things I could say. Like, I know that they convey disrespect, but I think what's hurtful is being accurate. Like, accuracy is way more hurtful than your bitch or whatever. Like, I'm sure we all do it when you get mad or stuff. But like, when something, at least in my life, the things that stuck with me as insults are all things where I'm like, shit, that was true. And so that's what I would aim to do if I was aiming to insult you. What I think is funny is I did not name call that person. The chat room was name calling this person immediately, you know? So like, I feel like I'd be pretty reasonable about this shit. Yeah. But once again, I think you just now are still giving these people too much credit. The whole, like, they expect everyone to be nice. I don't think they do. I really think a lot of times they anticipate getting cussed out.
Yes,
some people like the attention of getting cussed out. They don't write. Now, they're not stupid enough to write in a way that will make me immediately dismiss them or you immediately dismiss them. Like, they, they wrote in, hey, I hate Rod and Karen. Karen is a bitch. Rod is gay, blah, blah, blah. We're not even going to read that comment. It would never make it through to the show. Right. But if you write in and go and just lie, every time somebody says something about the show, they go off and Rod calls them motherfuckers, and they always aiming at me. Rod calls them motherfuckers and all this shit. Meanwhile, Karen conveys things with much more passion and ferocity and will call you a motherfucker and bitch all the time. And no one ever writes in about that. 0 times in 16 years has someone written in. There's some sort of issue with me particularly. Yeah. And so I just accept that we put our shit out here in the public and that people are allowed to comment, but
they are.
But we just don't. I don't play the game. We don't play the game of all comments are equal. All comments are welcome. All comments are fair. No, not every listener is valuable. Not every comment
and
is
we ain't
valuable.
Trying to get everybody.
Not every critique is valuable or valid. And once you do away with that brainwashed bullshit that they tell people who are creatives, the world opens up because you see yourself and you see the footsteps that you want to take in front of you and the path that you're on, and you can walk with clarity instead of just trying to, do this happy to be here bullshit. To me, the worst type of people that podcast are long as we getting comments, long as we getting clicks, long as we getting reviews, I don't care if they hate me. To me, that's how you become a Breakfast Club, where it's like, long as people watch it, it doesn't matter if they hate it, doesn't matter if they love it, they watch it. And yes, they are rich and they are powerful and they are gonna be bigger and better than us in many ways that matter to capitalism and society. But I'll sleep soundly tonight and never think about this comment again because I know it's not true and I know I walk with clarity, and I think that's the difference.
Yeah, and also before we go on, I
just want to note, I was ready to move on now. The person that wrote this comment is going to be like, they always go off and they keep talking. I just want y'all to know I'm ready to go on. Karen the one coming back on y'all. Okay, she's not letting it go. Now y'all gonna write in next week and be like, Rod went off. Rod did not go off.
Rod did not go
but
off.
This did turn into a 10-minute tangent. And it's because Karen's like, and before we move on, one more thing, because she has a lot to say, because it bothers her too. Go ahead.
And yeah, this is, y'all can blame me. This is my fault. I was gonna say
it's not a blame thing. I'm just pointing out what's happening in real time, so that when the next asshole writes in with Rod calls everybody a motherfucker and he goes off and he won't move on, while you got a feedback show, if you can't take criticism, just know that I've tried to move on 2 to 3 times now. Karen keeps going back, and one more time because it bothers her as well.
And also the thing about it too is, I think because you're the man in this relationship, or have the male energy in this relationship, people always assume that men are angrier kind of than women. But truth be told, a lot of times, like I said, I'm very passionate and I have very strong emotions about a lot of things. And the thing is, I am actually, I don't want to say meaner than Rod, but the way my anger is released is very different than Rod, And so, between the both of us, I would rather, not trying funny, y'all would rather him be mad than me be mad. You don't want me mad. I just know my personality. So, a lot of the times people try to hit me to target Rod, but I just let that happen because I understand for a lot of people, I am an afterthought. Not unless you're a real fan of the show and you appreciate me and what I bring to the show, you completely understand. But like Rod said, we've been doing this for a very long time. So we've just about any tactic that you can use underneath the sun, we have seen it.
Lovely Liz says, excellent podcast, thank you. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. Meeks 76 says, I guess I'm one of the ones that, because I never had to pawn something, but shout out to the inflation and Trump's tariffs, I may be just ending my streak. It's also a shame, but very indicative of the time that we can't just see clarifications or corrections for what it actually is. Trump and his ilk have gotten us to a place where a disagreement or point of clarification is seen as aggressive or dismissive. As you pointed out, this is an unscripted conversation, so it's not going to be perfect, hence the need to clarify. Also, if everyone listens all the way to the end, you both end with, I love you. That is intentional. Thanks again for making the time to do this podcast. Appreciate you. I agree with both Rod and Karen that there was no correction, just a request for clarification, which was achieved. It's so crazy that the person who wrote in originally is the one who wrote back like, oh yeah, I see what y'all saying, and it made me do some introspection. And I may have this is because of other things that aren't you,
right?
And then there's someone like, no, it is not that. All right, Kim Doc says,
that's hilarious.
I have to say that when having a conversation with my girlfriend, I think I'm being clear and I'm cooking, and she'll ask me to drill down on something I've just thrown against the wall, and I go into a shell. What you're talking about is truly helpful to me. I'm always like, well, damn, why can't you let that point cook? Why you got to ask questions, LOL? Completely ridiculous. But I'm also not used to people asking deeper questions and interrogating why and I think I cut off for some reason. Normally it's like a
kind of
click more, but it's not. But then she did write back. I forgot to say my girlfriend hit me with you want to just have super surface conversations, let me know. I was upset, but I took a step back and we had a better understanding of the topic and where we both were coming from. The conversation was about Black people resting. I kept saying, when the hell are we ever going to get off of the mat though? Damn, LOL. I'm still conflicted about it, but I think the election and the way it appears certain groups voted was such a betrayal. I also know it gets violent as fuck when we do step up and come to the front, but let's be real, these white-led protests ain't it, man. Man, I don't know. I'm out of the protest stuff ain't my business. It really ain't. I wasn't out there for none of the protests, so
I was not.
However y'all want to direct them, fine. Maybe they'll listen to the white folks. I don't know. I walked through the park the other day and I seen some white people, some older people, mostly women and mostly white, but they weren't all white, they weren't all older, and they weren't all women. So it was all kinds of groups, but mostly an older white women crowd. And it was like the Women League of Voters for Charlotte, and they were organizing one of those go protest, go on the side of the street with your signs, no kings type thing. And honestly, man, it made me smile. I was proud of them. I was thankful for them.
Mm-hmm.
I really think it's important that we walk around with that, because that's what it's going to take, is this backseat criticizing and taking away the momentum of people that actually are putting their
doing the work.
They're putting their freedom on the line. I think I'm not joking. I don't think I'm being hyperbolic. With this administration, I don't care what race you are, what gender you are. I think when you go out there on the front lines of a protest, you are actually putting your freedom at risk.
Yes,
I don't think
are.
This is not a administration that plays by the rules.
Mm-hmm.
They've already imprisoned people who've protested in the United States.
Yes, they have.
And done it illegally. Like, done it without any justification, lied about it. So I won't downplay their courage and strategy. And honestly, I hope it works. And most of these people probably voted the right way and did all the right things. So I don't have anything to ask of these people that they haven't already done. So congrats to them. And I don't know about the black people stuff. Honestly, I really don't know. I haven't looked into it enough to have any real concrete proof that black people are like straight up, there's nothing we would protest right now, or that black people are like no longer care or whatever. Everything I see with that is from the internet.
Yes.
And so I have to be careful with social media, because social media escalates and dissent and divides sometimes in a way that isn't necessarily proportionate to real life. So like, I'll see a video on a protest and it'll be a black person recording from their car going, I ain't going out there or something, and then it'll be shared millions of times, and I'm like, was that every black person in LA, or was that one black person that got shared a million times? Once again, I'm not giving any conclusive, I just don't know how to feel. I'm like, maybe that is how it is out there right now, and it's just going to be like this and it sucks. Or maybe like there's black people in those protests and it's just not black led. I don't know.
Agreed.
By the way, Karen, the liquid death water is just water, but there's something about water from an aluminum can that I really like. Can't explain it. It's the $7 price tag, I guess.
Okay. I remember the first time, because it was people talking about liquid death. I was like, and then I was like, it's water? Because I used to see the cans when they first started coming here, and I was like, the fuck is this? Is this alcohol?
Yeah, I did.
Who's drinking this?
It bothered me because I went to get water at a comedy venue and from the bar, and they did not have water, like bottled water. They would not give me bottled water. They wouldn't give me even a cup of water. And I'm like, but I would like water. They was like, we got liquid death, and they didn't explain it was water. I was like, they just put a can of liquid death on the counter for like $7. I was like, what? I don't want alcohol. I want. Then there was like, it is water, and that's how I found out.
Okay, see, I'm glad I'm not the only one that this sounds like alcohol. I was like, the fuck is this?
Yeah, I mean, it's promoted that way and everything. I think that's part of the point. But yeah, shout out to you, your girlfriend. I think it's so interesting because obviously we all walk around with our own trauma, but when someone asks you to explain or clarify, that's not supposed to be an attack, especially from coming from a person that loves you and is acting in good faith. I think there's nothing that shows more love than, I actually care what you think about this on a level that's deeper than just what you said. I would like you to drill down on it, because I want to like incorporate it into my thoughts and my being and my feelings about you. I'm not just saying. I think one of the most funny things is how people will politely dismiss and not pay attention to folks, but because it's happening in a polite way, they think it's caring. Where to me, I'm like, oh, that person didn't even hear what that person said. They don't give a fuck what they just said.
Yeah, I've seen
it.
And
so it's, hopefully they're listening and actively listening in a way that would make them, you want to like explain it because they do want to know.
Right. And also, I think when I realized this, when most people are having a conversation, even with people that they love, for most people, they're not actually listening. They're just waiting for you to stop so that they can fill in their comments, like, you know, but when you're actually listening, it slows shit down, and people do not like that part of that part of having a real conversation. Like you said, we understand bad faith actors, yada yada yada, but we're talking about somebody asks you to clarify this. Actually, not their purpose is not to fucking attack you. Their purpose is not I got you. Like, their purpose is I want to understand you better as a human being. You know, I want to get closer to you because I love you and I care about your thought process, and I want to know, how did you come to this conclusion? What were the things that contributed to it? Like fundamentally who you are. Because, you know, when people come up with these ideas and these thoughts, they don't come out of the blue. They have things attached to them. So a lot of times people ask for clarification. Sometimes they want to know the things that are attached, the deeper meaning behind the words that are coming out of your mouth. I think some people are used to talking and not explaining. And then when they explain, they go into panic mode. And this is what I realized. If you say something and you are flat-footed on it and it's foundational to you and it's truthful to you, you will be able to explain yourself. If you say something and it's based off of the internet or it's based off other people's opinions and it's not based off of who you fundamentally are, you will not be able to explain yourself.
Yeah. Also, like, I think another thing people aren't used to, especially for me, I do very little thinking it through live on the podcast. When I do, I try to make note of it. Like, guys, I'm thinking this through. I'm not really sure that I have a point yet. Like, I'm working on this as I'm talking. But vast majority of the time, because I'm an overthinker, I've already come to my conclusion. So I think sometimes people are like, they see an opinion, and especially when they don't agree with it, it's like, how do I challenge it? And I've thought of the challenges. And so I think that throws people off too, to be like, how can he be so, you know, how can he be so sure of his opinion? It's like, oh, it's not, I'm only telling y'all for the first time. This is your first time hearing it. You're probably not going to come up with a point where I'm like, damn, didn't even think about that. Like, more times than not, I did think about it. I might not have arrived to the conclusion you wanted me to, but I did consider it. I just don't want to do it the way you want.
Right. And also, like I said, I think for me, because we have a trust with each other, and you know, when we ask these things, like you say, it's not coming from a malicious place or anything like that. That's why I'm very open with it. And if I don't know, I'll be like, well, I don't know, you know, and not knowing is okay. Not having all the answers is okay.
It's not the end of the world.
Right.
You know, especially when it's emotional stuff.
Right.
Sometimes there's no good answer sometimes. Eric says, good to see you with our other Karen. First time watching YouTube. I usually just listen to the pod. I like how Karen, my wife, has become the other Karen to the Karen Hunter fans.
I don't mind being the other Karen.
Do you have an emotional support podcast you listen to? 81% say yes, 19% say no. All right, let's play some commercials. It's been long enough. And we'll be right back.
Where my money at? You a blood clot lie. What you talking about?
The next episode is 3129. Coldplay, canoodling, cheating CEO canceled.
That name.
Appia says the 13-party system version of both sides are the same is all politicians lie anyway, and I'm not voting, because in Germany they got 13 parties. So yeah, I know there's a type of person that is gonna always say it's all bullshit, whether they're lazy, uninformed, ignorant, whatever, and they're gonna always make it everyone else's fault. I truly do think, and I of course in this time it feels weird to say, but I truly do think the 2-party system in America leaves no fucking excuses. You're just a bad person. You don't care, and you're a bad person. That's it. Like, who could look at these two choices and think they're equal weight or don't matter and won't affect people's lives? Right. You just don't care about the people whose lives it affect, and you're a bad person. There you go. Karen, I as a teenager, Appia could be panicking about old technology just fine. Looking at a phone that didn't ring, even if the guy said he would call me, and refusing to leave the room in case it could ring exactly at the time is a clear memory, but maybe just me. I guess that was because we were talking about
the old songs.
Yeah, the songs with the old technology.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that was the point of the segment though, because we talked about Genuine.
Mm-hmm.
And Genuine had all that old technology. He was in the house mad she didn't call him.
Oh, so anxious is probably the name of the song, if I'm not
They
mistaken.
wasn't gonna meet till 11:30, and he was pissed off at 10:10.
He was paging. Where you been?
Yeah. Mary says, right, I also prefer cardio when then weights in that order. I've tried it the other way, but it's much harder for some reason. Oh my God, it's so harder. It's so much harder. I've done the like my trainer one time suggested, like, you know, if you want to, you could like lift weights and then go shoot around for like 15 minutes. And I would lift weights and then go in the gym to shoot around. I couldn't even make it 15 minutes. Like, cause after I had my legs on that sled and my arms on the bench, and I was like, this is impossible. Who the fuck got 15 minutes of this left in them? You got 5 minutes and I'm ready to go. But the other way, if I went in there and shot around 15, 20, 30 minutes even, and then went to lift weights, it doesn't bother me lifting weights later. But I feel like maybe the cardio gets you loose. Anyway. Maybe because there's no break in the cardio, but with weights you can take longer rest period if you need to. That's true too. Anyway, I'm so inspired by you, and I'm cheering you on from the other coast. Thank you, Mary. And you are inspirational as well. I always see her out here running.
Yes.
You know, participating in these Ks, you know, them 5s, them 10s, them whatever.
All them Ks.
So, you know, we're all doing it together, man. Shoe Booty says, Rod, don't tell your Hydrate Amazon scam out loud. Don't get gotten by big water. Not liquid death. They gonna come get me.
Come get you, take you down.
I was waiting to hear Karen inexplicably got mac and cheese added to her Chinese fish.
Not this. I don't think they had it on the menu. Not this time.
Oh man. Domino's daddy said Nikki taking a page from the other famous narcissist, a fanatical cult that should be called Mamra, making Onika Minaj great again. Wait, wouldn't that be Magra? Oh, relevant. Oh, they changed it to relevant again. Okay, there you go. Mamra. I get it. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Eve says this episode came just in time. I was just thinking about how some songs are so outdated. I was listening to High Five's Quality Time. There's a line that goes, when my pager goes off, I'll ignore it, baby, because I really want to be with you. No one has a pager anymore except the kind you get at restaurants when you wait at tables. Even now, restaurants are moving away from that because you can just give them their phone number. They'll text you. Kids today will never know. True.
Some doctors still have it. Other than that, most people do not carry pagers.
Nicki Minaj is going outside, says Evie. But there's something I find interesting about her situation. When people were coming at Arby and Wayne, she defended them and has been very vocal about her support of them. But whenever she gets into any kind of beef, I don't hear from any of her crew. Sounds to me that maybe she should stop being so pressed over Rock Nation, SZA, and any other female rapper she hates and start looking at her own camp. I think she's surrounded by ops, and that's probably why she's so paranoid. Man, I don't know what's happening to that woman, but man, it's sad. I was thinking about this the other day. Lil Wayne, Drake, and Nicki, all that Young Money triumvirate was like the shit. They were running rap for a minute.
Yes, they were.
And to see all of them kind of like slide into the paranoid, hyper internet obsessed type of people and all have their weird sort of like feedback loop with the internet, it's sad, man. Like Drake is obviously super tapped in. He's streaming. He's a fucking streamer at this point. Like there's nothing more on the internet than you're doing streams instead of like releasing albums and singles, and you're stopping your tour and you're posting,
you know, I have a tendency to forget that he stopped his tour and just never came back.
Passive aggressive social media posts, blah blah blah. Meanwhile, you know, the guy that took him down, Kendrick, is one of the most let me keep my phone off ass motherfuckers in the world, who doesn't do any of this stream. Like he's not, he destroyed Drake's internet presence while not truly being an internet presence.
Right.
I still think it's funny to go look at his Twitter account and see like the last year and a half is just nothing but posts of drop this, release that. Here's this album. Here's this song. Here's a YouTube video.
That's it.
It's none of this like I'm hanging out with y'all trying to convince y'all that I'm the greatest. And
I shouldn't have to.
So Drake clearly he hangs out with and tries to convince us he's the greatest. He really wants to have a strong presence with social media streamers like academics and shit like that. It's very weird how tapped in he is, and I get it because that's what won him the battle against Meek Mill, but it's also what kind of lost in the battle against Pusha T. Like the internet was like, nah, nigga, you can't run from this one. So anyway, and then of course Lil Wayne, the Super Bowl thing. Well, he turned himself into a victim for something that was never on the table.
Never on the table.
No one was asking him or Young Money to represent the Super Bowl in New Orleans. It's not a thing that happens where like we always recognize the city that it's in.
Performance be all over the place for the Super Bowl.
And he let the internet drive that. He let social media commentators drive him into a victim mentality of like, I can't believe they did me like this. And I was like, damn, that's some really sad loser shit. He was making videos about it, sounding all Lil Wayne about it, you know. People don't have me to do. I'm like, no. And then of course, Nicki, like the Barbs have, I mean, at this point, who's driving that car? Her or the Barbs? Feel like the Barbs drive Nicki, not the other way around.
Agreed.
And with so many of them not even being black women, it's like super weird and scary. But yeah, who would have saw that coming? That's all I'm saying. And I wonder how much of that is related to that era of music and rap being extremely correlated with sales and chart numbers in a way that sort of took away the artistic quality and merit of that art, because what people would argue about was not how good or bad a song was, how artistic or interpolated or lyricism, whatever. It just was like, well, Drake got 7 number 1 hits this year. He's the best. You know, so
breaking these records. He's the best.
Yeah,
right?
Nicki did this. She's the best. And I wonder if because that is a quantitative and a quantitative argument that leads to online, almost like the sportsification of arguments, where it's like, Jordan won 6 championships, Kobe won 5, you know, that kind of thing. I wonder if that created this navel gazing in those artists, and they have to spiral out because no artist stays on top forever.
No, they don't.
So when that next artist comes, or when you have that lull or that period where you're starting to fall off, you can't gracefully fall off. You can't just bow that back and be like, all right, I guess I'm out for a while. You have never experienced, you've always been able to quantify your way out of things.
Yes.
And you can't do that anymore. Pusha T destroys you throughout the culture, but you were able to quantify your way out. Like, look at these number 1 hits though. Well, he does have number 1 hits. I guess he's still a thing. And now you don't have that argument because the hits ain't number 1 no more. People can pull up the Kendrick numbers and now it's looking worse for you. Not to mention with Nicki, I mean, so many women at this point are on when she's not on. Yeah, man, I wonder if they are just another victim of the internet age.
Yeah, and also it's one of those things too where, you know, he's dropping things and people don't even talk about him anymore. I don't mean no harm, not like they used to.
Yeah, I mean, even if they talk about it, that's my point, right? That's my point though. Even if they are talking about it, we actually don't know that they're not talking about it.
Okay.
I'm saying what used to matter was the number.
I see what you're saying. Like, yes. Like the streaming.
Because if
we're
being fair, Drake used to drop shit all the time that my people in my circle weren't talking about. You know what I'm saying? But you go look at them numbers and you're like, well, clearly somebody motherfucking talking about it. It's number 1.
Yes.
Now that they don't just have the bam, I drop number 1. Everyone's afraid to put music out when I'm putting music out. Now that they don't have that mandate, it's like they spiraled out into something like, who am I? How do I have to constantly attack people to prove who I am? They don't seem comfortable just being that. And the artists that came up in an era before them, that are a little bit older, that are starting to make comebacks now, they do not seem to be this obsessed. Meaning, no,
they don't.
The Clips got a number 1 album release last week, but they're not. they don't seem pressed to be like, we're number one. Look at our album sales. Look at our streams. Obviously Nas. Jay-Z has literally been like, I'm good. Like, and I know people try to like diss him for that, but I think one, a lot of those people are like Nas apologists as weirdos, which is I won't even start on that. We're so old. What is wrong with you?
Right.
But the thing that I'm like, no, I appreciate him being like, I don't really have a thing to say right now.
And that's okay.
I'm raising my kids. I'm living life.
I'm being a dad.
I can always have this skill. I'm sure I will rap again, maybe at some point. He didn't do an official I'm retiring thing like he used to do all the time back in the day. This might be the last one. He dropped 444 and every once in a while he'll do a feature or something, but he just played the back. And I'm like, right, because that's what happens when you're not that obsessed with the chart number.
Yes.
And Jay was a guy who I thought would spiral out like that. Because he used to run the charts. It used to be this many summers in a row. I was running the summer. Like, he used to be like that. But he wasn't saying, it wasn't always this many summers I had the number one album. It was this many summers I felt like I ran the culture, which is a totally different argument.
Yes, it is.
I have the number one album. I sold the most records. It's not that it's not related. Like, he does talk about sales. He does talk about charts. But he wasn't just it's because my album dominated the chart, that's why I'm the man. It was, I'm the man, and because I'm the man, the album dominated the charts. It's a slight difference, but it makes all the difference. And it's why a guy like that can go, I don't need to make an album after 444 right away. Like, I can take 5, 6, I can take however long I want to. I'll be fine when I come back.
Yes, you will, if I choose to come back, right?
Yeah, and meanwhile, I think Nicki, Wayne, and Drake are 3 prime examples of people that never felt they could take time off. They always felt like that's why Lil Wayne had 30 million mixtapes. It's why, like Drake obviously, like, they couldn't stop swimming because, like, the illusion of I run the game was that fragile, and look at them, they spiraled out. Those are my thoughts. Keep experimenting with this idea of doing a hip hop podcast, probably like a solo thing or something. But honestly, the thing that's holding me up is I keep trying to come up with the name, and I'm like, not yet. That's not a good enough name. But I'm thinking about it. For those that are interested in that. Sean says, in regard to the old technology and lyrics, one of my students put together a sample lesson where he used Bruno Mars' Lazy Song for a translate and discuss activity. The translation for Don't Feel Like Picking Up My Phone, so leave a message at the tone were wild. That song was from 2010. Damn. Wow. Yeah, I guess technology has advanced that fast.
Yes, it has.
YouTube. Ramsey PH Dunn says 5 stars. I look forward to both the band turn politics till we get mad segments. The girl on the other side of the road says gay men love Nicki. Like, if you ever met a gay man, there's a high chance they're a Nicki fan. Is not only white guys, but all gays. Many of them aren't teenagers too. Like, there are barbs over 30, and we now because at the time of Megan versus Nicki, when the bars were doxing people, some people doxed them back and found these were grown men, and some of them even were using their jobs to dox people.
Ooh.
Yeah, and she means we know, but yes, I agree. My point isn't that her fans aren't like gay men, they aren't black or whatever, because I think we both agree there. I'm saying, who are the harassers, I wonder? Because, and look,
online,
I don't have any proof to back this up. This is completely a anecdotal, evidence-based feeling. Meaning, I just see shit sometimes and be like, look at this shit. But it feels in a weird way like no one that cared about her as a black woman in our culture would lead her down this road of destruction. And it feels very white to me. It feels transactional. It feels like she's not there. That's not real, that they love her. You know what I'm saying? But that's just me. I feel, and that's how I've experienced blackness, and that when black people care about somebody and their art, they're not trying to get them to destroy themselves.
No, that's the last thing they want.
And this feels like they want her to destroy herself, and they enjoy the spiral outs.
They enjoy it.
And I don't know. That feels very white to me. Like art, like that's the kind of feeling you have when this ain't your culture.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no consequence to me. I'm going back to being white after this woman does whatever she does. And so if she's MAGA now, I'm gonna support that. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's a bunch of black gay MAGA dudes too, but I feel like the MAGA shit for a lot of black people, whether they gay, whether they like divas or not, it would be enough for them to be like,
Yeah, they be like,
no,
nope.
I don't support that.
Right, I do not.
Anyway, she also said whoever stole Beyonce's unreleased song should definitely not put it on YouTube and tag me. So it said all 13 sides are the same. Start laughing. Dark Nam just said escape rooms. TKG says CEO no shuffle. The CEO no shuffle. And Rod said, Jason, Rod, you are so right about how they would treat the third political party if it ever happened. If you're not bright enough to be able to pick between Trump and Kamala, the last thing you need is more options.
Right.
Try breathing the game. Try beating the game on easy first. Right. Also, I love to know the platform of this mystical third party. We believe in climate change, hate trans people, believe Black Lives Matter, but not on the weekends. Right.
Not on the weekends.
Explain, and I've never seen anyone successfully be able to tell me what a third party platform that would get all of us to the table is. Not once.
Mm-mm.
Not once. Because once you have to start doing actual work that's beyond actual work that is beyond saying we're all angry at the system, you have to say, okay, so what's the solution? That's when you start losing people. It's right there. Like, it's why Bernie concentrates so much on the rich people, the 1%, the billionaires, because we can all agree, like, yeah, that's terrible. But then the second we get even a one level below that, we're like, so what are we gonna do about racism? Well, that's identity politics. Whoa, what? Whoa, come on, man. That's affecting my economy.
Right.
Well, if someone wants to have abortions and not make them legal in their state, that's okay, as long as they're for against the billionaires. Like, no, but you're gonna lose people with that now because you had to make a choice, and that's what the other parties have had to do, and no one wants to cop to. Well, that's the reason they can't be the most popular and well liked, is because they had to make choices. You either had to choose, we're protecting trans people and trans girls and all this stuff, or you say we're not. Those are the choices.
There's no third option.
And once you say that, you start losing people. And Karen, I love when you relate to your second degree empathy. Anybody can be out here feeling for the victims of actual car accident. Queen Karen goes a step further. She empathizes not only with them, but also the people who are affected by the traffic. I like how you said not only with them. She skipped past the people.
Thank you. Somebody understands.
Trying to reframe it. She didn't care about them people on the hill. She didn't even go, oh my goodness, I hope they're okay. Then the people who were shorthanded on their jobs because those people were stuck in traffic. It's like derivative empathy. Queen Karen is doing the calculus empathy, not change, never change. Queen.
Thank you. I'm glad you get me.
Okay. All right. The poll was, should concerts, sporting events stop the kiss cam? 17% say yes, 83% say no. I'm with the 83%. Keep the kiss cam going. Not my fault y'all cheating.
Right. Keep it going.
If anything, now that we know some people getting caught cheating, turn that bitch up. Let's get an extra minute of kiss cam. I want to be at one of these games.
Right? We might catch one at the Hornets games.
I want to see somebody get exposed.
They do it at the Hornets game. Me and Roger been there before, but they like randomly put the camera on you all.
Yeah. Don't get me in no kiss cam behind the kiss cam where I can control who gets on the screen. I be causing chaos. Just nothing but two men. Just put all men together on the kiss cam. Man. Let's see who in here gay and who just friends. Let's find out. All right, y'all. Let's we're gonna get into the third episode, but I'm gonna play music for a second and get something to drink. All right, the last episode was 3130, Hunter talking that talk. Ronan Raphael says Hunter Biden can sit next to me at the cookout. He was me and I was him in that interview. Get this man a shot of alcohol-free Hennessy.
He is welcome to the cookout. Him and his daddy.
Don't charge him, them Hennessy rates though. Sean says, wait, I thought it was Rod's job to hand out the pass to the cookout all willy-nilly. I'm just officially acknowledging they're gonna be there.
Oh, yes, they're gonna be there.
Classic Arby lover says, when Karen said she's very black during that guess the race segment, I nearly choked on the cherry I was eating. My thought being, what the hell does that mean? I low-key think that might be the most racist comment I've ever heard during the segment. And that includes the comments from the people in the chat. I agree. It was very racist. I was disgusted. FYI,
I am disgusted.
FYI, I wanted to make sure you know I meant this as a joke. The laughing emojis did not populate when my comment was saved. Yeah, for some reason our site doesn't do laughing emojis, but we knew it was a joke. Come on. Shoe Booty says 0.3 blood alcohol. That's the drunkest I've ever heard of. She is not okay. Sean says, originally from Wisconsin, so no stranger to the 0.3. Once watched a drunk himbo take 15 minutes trying to get his Birkenstock back on before walking off. A minute later, he was driving by in a car. Apparently, driving a car is less complex to the drunk than mind, to the drunk mind than driving. I hope he didn't kill anyone. For reference, blood alcohol 0.3 to 0.4 generally renders non-Wisconsinites unconscious. 0.4 or higher can result in death. The highest I've heard of is 0.65. Woo! Well, they a superhero called alcohol, man? How the fuck are you living with 0.65?
Your blood is straight alcohol.
Right. That nigga blood was like 40 proof.
Right?
He was cutting himself and continuing to be drunk. He would just drink the blood.
Like, it's just proof.
He tapped his finger like it was like when you do a blood test and he just would sip on it as he was driving. It's like gotta keep staying drunk. Abia says nothing to see here better than sending Congress home for summer, right? EVE says with all the shenanigans going on in the world, especially involving politics, even the white people news hasn't been hitting like it has in the past. That's not saying I'm not enjoying it. I just think that white people seem to be going through it lately as well. All these white celebs dropping dead. Ben Affleck trying to get that old thing back with the other Jennifer, and they're saying
he loved himself a Jennifer, don't he?
And they're saying Superman is too woke. Phil Collins is in hospice, and they say King Charles is sick. What do white people have to believe anymore praying for them, right? Yeah, I didn't even know about the Phil Collins.
Y'all supposed to be the respite.
Yeah, I didn't know about the Phil Collins thing. I feel bad for all the people that were stuck in traffic. Shara says the idea about a survey of people who personally know members of...
Hey, sir.
What? I'm just saying. People probably were stuck in traffic when he was going to the hospital.
You know they were.
I feel so sorry for them. Isn't that what we were all sorry for? Shara says the idea
Their calculus empathy.
The idea about a survey of people who personally know members of the LGBTQ community is interesting, but it reminded me of a discussion I had with a friend at university. He asked me if I know any LGBTQ people personally because he's never met one. Meanwhile, 2 days prior, we had hung out with a group of friends, among who there were two gay guys in a relationship, a lesbian and a trans woman. It's a little different now, but back in the 90s and the aughts, coming out was very selective. At that time, if you didn't have gay friends, it was actually more likely that you didn't know you had gay friends because you were not seen as safe to tell. I agree.
And it's still today. It's still not a simple or easy thing.
Like, right. But I think what he's saying is right, though, that it has become more acceptable to be openly gay.
Okay,
now.
yes. Okay,
and even now, there are going to be people that I think do not know LGBTQ people.
I agree. Yes.
And especially once you get to the T part,
the T of the alphabet. Yes.
Once you get to the T, I feel like you're gonna know a lot of people are like, they don't think they know a trans person. Now they may know one that somehow is passed in their mind or whatever.
Right.
But a lot of them, I think, don't know, and this is why it's so easy to have no empathy and to dismiss.
Agreed.
And to see it as just a political talking point.
Yeah, I see what you're coming now. Yes. Like you say, and you know what allows that? Laws and lawmakers and people, not feeling like they have to run away.
I honestly, truly do think one of the main reasons I haven't been able to listen to a lot of political podcasts after the election, it's not just my upsetness about the losing the election and stuff, but it's the proposed remedies for the solutions to how to fix this party and to fix the system and to win, I'd say, I think I'm being generous, 75%. Like, I'm saying I'm being low. I think it's probably higher than that. But I say like 75% of political podcasts that would call themselves left leaning definitely floated out some version of, we just need to let these trans people let this shit go.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. I get why people think there's no I'm just being logical. I'm just saying some people don't like it. Maybe we should let this go. And it's not just your little like offshoot private podcast. Some of these people are, Rahm Emanuel and Gavin Newsom, and like names, like people that are elected, and they're already floating the idea like we should let this slide. In my mind, I can never separate it from, imagine if after the pushback against Black Lives Matter, if I had to listen to a bunch of podcasts go, well, maybe we should just let this Black Lives Matter shit go.
Right. Yes.
Trump won in 2016. A lot of that's because of Black Lives Matter. Fucking let the cops kill them. We just want to win, and you can't be mad at us. We're just trying to win. Where else you gonna go vote?
Right.
And then I'm supposed to sit there and not be offended,
right? And not
suck
have
it up
any
for
feelings,
the cause,
not have any emotions. And the way I think of it, when you do that, I know I'm on the agenda next. And then not only that, I know I was thought about, but because particularly on the Democratic Party, we play such a large role, you know that would be career suicide. So then you go to another selective group of people. All jokes aside, like, I know that when you were looking, you was like, well, what can we do? Who can we blame? Well, we can't blame the blacks. We make the people piss off the blacks, we're gonna be in trouble. Well, then what? Out of all the people in our group, who is the group of the people who we think that most people don't care about the most? Mm-hmm. And that's how they came up with this group of people. But the thing is, that group of people matters. And how you treat them will determine how you treat the rest of us. And people don't look at it like that. How you treat the people that are forgotten, the people that are the poorest, the people that don't have. When you start erasing social nets, how you treat those people actually dictates and determines how you treat the rest of your populace. Because the thing is, like I said, a trick bag is everybody thinks that they are above being poor. Everybody thinks that they are above being homeless. Everybody thinks that they are above these things. You are not. You got one medical bill from you, one medical bill from your child, one parent going into a nursing home. That's all you need to lose everything you got. Americans are under the delusion that we actually have more than we have. Like I said before, studies have shown most Americans, if you ask most Americans to scrap up $500, $1,000, $2,000 right now, they don't have it. Most Americans don't have savings accounts. Most Americans are in credit card debt. So when you look at that, these people that are already on the borderline anyway have the nerves and the audacity to look at people that they feel that are less than them. When you are one situation, you lose your job, you are one situation from living out of your car. And so I feel as though when you look at this, a lot of the people that people claim to care about fall in that group, because when you talk about trans people, a lot of homelessness, mental illness, a lot of homelessness, vets, a lot of homelessness, when you look at it. So it's like, no, I pay attention to how you treat these groups, because I know I am not an exception to the rules. And I know if I lose my job, now I don't have any social nets. You know what I'm saying? If I happen to come in a situation where I need food or I need help, they are purposely taking these things away, and people are under the illusion that they never need these services until they do.
Yep. And I think it's interesting because our party is the party of the people who think they're the fucking heroes.
Yes.
But you don't get to be a hero and a coward. You either stand for the shit or you don't. Like, that's it. It is what it is. And especially when your big critique of the party in general is that it's not brave enough, and then the second that they lose, you're like, okay, fucking throw the trans people in the trash.
Right.
How do we get them the fuck out of here? Like, but we're heroes. We're inclusive. We're not like those Republicans, those racist, bullshit, calculating motherfuckers. We're not like that at all. Anyway, yeah, trans people, can you shut the fuck up and get out of here? Anyway, let's see. Was I at the last comment?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the last one for the website.
Okay.
All right. Now to YouTube. Emojis. Damien says, hell yeah, Karen, Hunter Biden got it all the way in. He need way more white people with that same. We need way more white people with that same energy. We plan to turn this shit around. And yes, Rod is right. Thank Damien.
Yeah, I'll decide. You need more white people. Just like fuck them white people.
Yeah.
We don't have enough white people that will look another white person in their eye and say, fuck you, you're wrong. Too many of them, and I understand it because of the relationship, the loved ones, they don't want to lose connections, and whatever the reason may be, they always talk themselves out. If more of them was like, fuck you, yes, you're white, I'm white too, you got white privilege, I got white privilege too, well then, bitch, let's tussle it out. If more white people really had the energy, we would not be going through the bullshit we were going through.
Yeah, the social pressure shouldn't just flow one way.
Right.
Into making good people be silent. Like, it should also make bad people shut the fuck up. And it can. If the good side wins, that's kind of what normally happens. Like, it's not that the racism goes away, but it's like, I don't know, there were less Nazi marches under Biden. It's just facts. There was anyway, I won't get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Hate crimes. Like, it's anyway. Dark Nam just says Bill Clinton is supposedly in those files too. Hence the Republicans want to release the files. Trump wants the DOJ to redact his name from the files for their release. Damien says they're gonna need a lot of Sharpies. Don't they give him 2 separate designations? John Doe number something, and it just ended. Yeah, I will say this. Let me just put this out here because I don't think there's a controversial opinion at all. But if Bill Clinton is in them files, I don't give a fuck. Like, then he should be castigated too. I think I saw a tweet that said this, but it was something to the effect of like, oh no, Bill Clinton is in the Epstein files. I'm gonna have to get rid of my Bill Clinton hat, Bill Clinton shoes, Bill Clinton NFTs, Bill Clinton bumper sticker. Like, no, like the politicians aren't my identity in that way.
They are not.
Like, he's not a mascot that I'm rooting for. I thought Bill Clinton's policies were better than what a Republican necessarily would have done in his place, but there's no like brand loyalty of like, well, then let the people get away with sexually assaulting kids. That's fine. No. Ramsey PH Dunn says Robert Hunter Biden energy for the rest of our motherfucking days. Lovely day says yes, please. I think it's KTJAJJ. Okay, Hunter, tell us why you really mad. Don't know if he is currently on anything, but he got stuff to say. I love how everybody's like, he might be on the crack. Is the crack talking? Yeah. Another great one. Thank you, Hugh Gordon. Thank you, TKG. Hugh Gordon says, now we know why last year when Hunter Biden testified in front of Congress, the Republicans forced it to happen behind closed doors. That
nigga was in there spitting the truth. He was in there going on. They were like, no, we can't have this aired on live national television.
That way they could edit and shape his words for their performative partisan proclivities. Imagine that kind of energy for 6 hours.
But people better realize they came after him personally, went after him like he feels a certain way. Like, I was just saying, he don't have the luxury of some of these other people that didn't have the federal government on their asses. So he's like, no, fuck them.
Kim Doc says the boos for Guess the Race always sound like an angry white mob. Where's that sound from? I can tell you it's on the Spotify list called Crowd Booing and Hissing from Pro Sound Effects Library on the album called 100 Human Sounds, Sneezes, Screams, Snores, and More.
That's hilarious.
Jason Jasper says, for some reason, that story about Trump stealing the team's trophy got me extra heated. Just the fact that he brought himself on stage during their moment to get some residual applause is shameless. Look, clearly he's beloved at UFC, so if he wants to go there, fine. But anywhere else, he's just ruining people's time. Shout out to Hunter B. Hunter was hunting. He sound like Biggie. This goes out to you and you and you
right?
and you. I literally thought of Karen the first time I heard him. Karen and Hunter as Joe's PR squad could have changed the course of history. And it wasn't in the clip you played, but he was also very complimentary of Kamala, so he stuck the landing. Yeah, I saw that. I didn't want to play the whole 5 minutes, but yeah, I did see it. And and one of the things that I find fascinating is how little we really seem to actually know. And we're just taking a lot of unofficial word for what must have happened behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's biases are playing out, because I think you can use context clues and kind of see like some of the way things played out and been like, well, that probably wasn't true, but I can't get people can't see past how they already feel. So like there are people that are like, Obama stabbed Joe in the back and he didn't want Kamala. It's like, well, that seemed, just from the way he campaigned for her, the way the call they released where he called her almost immediately after Joe named her, doesn't really seem like that's what happened. But if you already hate the Obamas or think they are phony, like, of course you're gonna say that. Yeah, like, and then all the Jake Tapper shit is so anonymous, and I don't know how you really report on that. People with inside knowledge like Hunter and I'm sure other people in that Biden family for the most part are going to be too classy to come out and say much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of that shit we probably never know.
And we want to believe the most negative version. So like people really want to believe he was like in there stumbling and bumbling and slobbering and shit. So I don't know. I don't think we'll ever really truly know. It's just how do you feel versus what you think must have happened, and that's it. Haha, finally I'm starting to think maybe to take out the garbage means something different in McDonald's language, because clearly that phrase has sparked a lot of drama in those arches.
Apparently it has.
The poll was Hunter Biden spitting to you?
Yes.
91% of the audience says he was spitting at them.
Mm-hmm.
And
he was talking my language.
That means 9% of y'all did not think he was spitting, which all right.
I hope y'all feel like he should have went harder or something. I hope y'all don't think he should have backed up, because if not, we gonna have a problem.
He should have been like Rod calling them motherfuckers. All right, y'all. Let's get into the voicemails, and then we got one email. Let me play a beat, so I might put commercials here.
Why did you kill that dog?
They're eating the dog. They're eating the pets. They're eating the dog. The dog. They're eating the dog. They're eating the pets. They're eating the dog. The dog.
I don't even remember this beat. Trump killed my dog is what it's called. I don't know who it's by. Someone sent it. All right, let's get to these.
Probably made that comment.
So let's get these voicemails. Oh, I'm sure they sent it when, but I just don't remember who and why. But anyway, here's the voicemails. We got one.
Mm-hmm. I can't hear it.
Oh, my bad, guys. I forgot. Shit. Okay, give me a second. Sorry. I forgot I'm in a different browser and it don't let y'all hear by default, which is ridiculous in my opinion.
Ridiculous.
But give me a second. It's Marissa, and it's only a short voicemail, so it shouldn't be that hard to restart it.
Yep, go ahead.
And let me know if y'all can hear it now.
Hey y'all, it's Marissa. I'm calling in because I was listening to the episode today, which y'all talking about the Hunter Biden stuff, which I love.
Okay, could y'all hear that?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm just so curious, like, okay, do y'all really think that the Epstein files, like the files themselves, actually exist? Because I kind of feel like they don't. I kind of go back and forth. And I'm trying to understand why the Republicans and his supporters are like up in arms about all of this shit, when literally every new piece of like damning evidence that's coming out is like shit that we've been known. Like the last 3 times this motherfucker ran for president, and so I'm like, do the shits even exist, or was it just a scam from the beginning and now Trump is stuck in the lie? But then why do his people give a fuck when they never gave a fuck before? Are they just upset about the economy and all the other shit, but they're trying to like get out all of their energy on this Epstein shit? It don't make no sense to me. It makes no sense to me. And I also feel like during the last election, if there were these like Epstein files or whatever that had incriminating shit about Trump, I feel like the shit would have leaked. I don't know. But anyways, I was just calling because I wanted to know, like, do y'all think these shits really exist?
Mm.
And two, why do you think his supporters give a fuck now when they've never cared before? Anyways, so love y'all, love the show. I'll be listening in.
I mean, I think they exist. I
do
think it's
too.
kind of obvious they must exist, because who the fuck fights this hard against some shit that don't exist?
People, a whole ass woman in jail right now because of this shit.
Yeah, we've seen like excerpts and pictures and shit, and like it's documented.
Yeah, people did a lot of investigation.
They already released that one letter Trump wrote him with that he drew like a woman's outline with pubic hair on it and shit. Like, so no, it exists. I'm more surprised people care,
right?
You know, because it just didn't seem like I don't know what MAGA people care about and what they don't.
Right, and it's all over the place. And the biggest reason why a lot of this shit is not fully coming out is because the Republicans. The Republicans are very obstructionist, like the mass.
But why would they be obstructing something if it didn't exist?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And also, I think they would say it don't exist. I think they would prefer, if it did not exist and they could make it go away, they would prefer to be like, you guys are tripping over nothing. This shit doesn't even exist. I don't even know what y'all talking about.
It exists because they are trying to hook or crook just so
he was on trial. He was going to go on trial. He killed himself. Ghislaine Maxwell is in jail now.
Yes, she's
not in there because there wasn't enough evidence. So yeah, I think it exists. I'm more perplexed as to why they give a fuck.
No, man. Why
this man has been convicted in a court of sexual harassment and sexual improprieties, but he's in many pictures with Epstein. It's now this is the deal breaker for y'all, or maybe this my leaning is maybe they see how bad his policies are being received by so many people, and now this is the chance to jump ship like you didn't know. Like, this is the convenient off ramp of like, well, there's Epstein. I mean, I can't go that far. It's like, okay, so this is your way of being like, get out of jail free. Like, oh yeah, when it was the immigrants and when it was this and when it was that, that's different. But this Epstein shit, man, like, I'm not with any of it now, right? We all agree. Anyway, Iman left the last voicemail.
Hey Rod, hey Karen, this is Iman. I was calling because I just want to thank y'all for, I'm still listening to the feedback episodes, but I just had to stop and call in about the part where you said that correction is not an attack, and I think that is so important, especially in this day and time where so many people are just like living online. And of course, we can't understand people's tone of voice, but at least in text, when they're correcting you or asking you a question, they're also questioning someone's point of view or how they're thinking about something isn't necessarily also an attack or a setup or anything, especially between two loving people or between a family. And this is something I've been trying to really infuse, to try to have my daughter, who's now 14, understand if I correct her or remind her or about anything. I'm like, I'm not attacking you. I'm not chastising you. I love you. Like, Dad reminds me of stuff. It's like, we correct each other about things. If I ask her where she got information from, it's because I just trying to understand where your mindset is. And then it does, like you said, it helps the audience because we might be thinking about something that y'all are talking about in the way Karen is thinking about it, but you're having to tell her, no, I'm thinking about it this way. So I just really appreciate y'all. I'm going to try to see if my 14-year-old she'll listen to that one little portion of the podcast. So we'll see. But yeah, thank you for that. I think that was really important. And love y'all.
Thank you.
You too.
Yeah, I think it is important, and I think especially now in this climate, because critical thinking and being a little bit more inquisitive it needs to be modeled to people, and it needs to become a bigger part of our focus as people that pass on information to each other. I do this all the time with my friends. Like, sometimes I worry about my friendships, not because I think I'm a bad friend, but because like I can only be friends with a certain type of person. Like, if my and my friends know this, and I'm sure sometimes it's inconvenient, sometimes it's welcome, but I'm the guy who's like, all right, explain this further than just you saw a TikTok video, or like the other day, one of my friends was like, I have a conspiracy about what's happening to hip hop and with Drake and blah blah blah. And then as she started talking it out, she because I said conspiracy, y'all know me, I ain't a conspiracy guy really. I like conspiracies. A lot of people think are fun. I think conspiracies have become one of the most dangerous, damaging things in society in the advent of the internet. I think it literally Pizzagate, the coronavirus vaccine, January 6th, QAnon. I really think it's dangerous. I have a trigger of it definitely bothers me to hear people that I respect truck in conspiracy. Like, and I know it probably makes me feel like an asshole to them, that they're like, look at this guy, he's been a jerk. I don't allow people to play around like that. Right. Like, we need to be having a conversation that is based in reality.
In real reality, yes.
If it's going to be conspiratorial, I'm probably going to opt out of the conversation, because I think it's a very slippery slope, and it don't take long. It doesn't take long. It doesn't mean there's no conspiracy. It doesn't mean there's nothing to consider. It doesn't, but like, let's not just throw everything in there. I've never was the Illuminati guy. I was never that guy.
Same.
And I don't find it fun in the way that people think it's fun. I think it's actually very dangerous. Anyway, so she starts explaining it, and then she's like, oh, actually, because I listened to what she explained. I said, oh, I don't think what you're describing is a conspiracy, but it does feel like a conflagration of events that led to these circumstances, led to a certain outcome. And I do agree with that. I feel like that's what happened. And it was essentially like all these old rappers are coming back because there's a vacuum left in hip hop by the absence of Drake. And she's like, oh yeah, now that I think about it, I didn't even mean to use the word conspiracy. It's what you're saying. Like, it was not, because conspiracy implies like the powers that be decided to get Drake.
Yes,
and that's what Drake's, some of his more ardent bot fan online people,
that's the shit they use.
They've tried to be like Kendrick Lamar was used in a conspiracy to destroy Drake because what? Why? And so I'm like, we have to be careful, because I don't even want to entertain that, because once you start framing it that way, it makes them seem valid, and they're not valid, in my opinion. That's not what happened. It was not the powers that be taking Drake out, and we need to stop talking like that when that's not what it was. But yeah, my point being, like, that's a clarification, that's a challenge, that's a disagreement. Some people can't even be friends with someone that did what I just did.
Right.
That was like, hey,
I'm like, you fucking up the fun or whatever. Yeah.
I would not call this a conspiracy. I would say this. They like, fuck Rod, fuck him, he don't get me, whatever. But I have to have that in my friendships. Yep. And vice versa. If I were to talk that way, and my friend would be like, Rod, that's not a conspiracy. You showed up at the DMV late. That's what happened. I'm like, thank you for checking me. Appreciate you. You're right. I was spiraling out for a second.
Mm-hmm. Everybody does.
Yeah. It's not the end of the world. All right. Emails. We got one. John says, morning, Rod and Karen. Hunter Biden is slinging some big dick energy with those no fucks left to give, and I'm here for it. There's another clip, I'm guessing in the 5-minute one Rod mentioned, where Hunter breaks down which segment of our coalition stood with his dad and which one threw him under the bus. He explains how after the debate, Joe cleared numerous hurdles, did multiple appearances, speeches, and interviews, and looked fine, just fine, getting a standing ovation from the NAACP and a full-throated endorsement from the CBC. But white progressive pundits, celebrity assholes were like, nope, too late, and just continued to double down on pushing out the most effective president of my lifetime because they never liked him.
Right.
It really is that easy to me. And I know there's well-meaning white people that will think that's not what happened to me. I think that is what happened to you, and there's never going to be any we don't even need to discuss it, because there's never going to be a thing you can say that would change my mind.
And the reason why they never wanted him is because when it was time to pick, everything underneath the moon ran when Joe Biden ran. People because that's the thing, the people determined this. People rejected them all. They couldn't get enough votes. They didn't have enough money, whatever it is. So they all started dropping off, and people never liked Joe from the beginning. And when black people, particularly down south, endorsed him and he won, instead of them just accepting what had happened, they turned around and they called black people stupid, dumb, and uneducated. How dare you pick this white man, because they never wanted him in the first place.
Yeah, I just think one of the things that is very interesting, and it's why it's kind of difficult to have white friends, because like it's hard to have real talk with them that isn't about making them feel bad, but it is the truth as you see it. And they don't understand the amount of privilege they live with in the world. Because I mean, come on, they're not reading books about it, they're not watching TV shows, and why would they if it's gonna make them feel bad, right? So there's like always a bit of a barrier, because shit that I can say with other people, I can't. I don't want to start World War III, so it's just like, let me stop. But they're well-meaning white people. I'm not calling them evil, bad. I'm not calling them racist. Any loaded term. It's not. That's not what this conversation is about. But they benefit from a certain level of privilege, to where if I like a black TV show and they don't, in their minds, I like it because it's black. And I'm defending a show that I know is bad because I'm black, and I don't want people to not like the black show. You see what I'm saying? Their mind can't compute. Maybe you don't like it because it's black. Maybe it's not of your culture and not for you. Maybe you just don't. That's what I was telling you. Okay, I tried a different browser. Do you guys see me now?
Your screen is black.
I'm talking to the people. I don't think you got a connection. In the chat room, I see. Okay, they see me. Yeah, that's what I thought. So try a different browser, maybe. That was weird. and then we'll. Okay, the mic should be back to right now. Okay, the echo should be gone, I think. Sounds like your mic is out. Yeah, it should be fixed now, right? I switched it. Good. All right, let's wait for Karen to get back, and I'll see if I can remember what fucking point I was making.
No problemo, sir.
Okay. Cool, I see you now. All right, you ready?
I am. Oh, do you remember where you were?
I'm going to try to finish where I was.
Okay.
I paused it.
Okay, no problem.
All right, so we just had technical difficulties, and I may have lost a little bit of track where I was. But my point is, whiteness does not consider normally the amount of privilege they navigate the world with. So they don't necessarily, they think bias exists on one side basically only. And that when bias exists in white people, it's just like the racist, like virulent type of bias, and not just the like, I crossed the street when I saw a group of black guys, or I just don't like movies. Like it's when people that review movies somehow just don't see any of the black movies, but they go, I see all the movies, but you didn't see the black movies, so you don't see all the movies,
right?
I'm not calling you a racist. I'm not saying you're doing it on purpose. These are just biases. These are blind spots. When I have them, we make fun of it. When I'm like, I didn't see that movie, it's too white. It's because there's not the negative connotation societally with I didn't see a movie because it was directed by Wes Anderson and it's too white for me. No one's gonna like come at me for that,
right?
But if a white person were to say I didn't see this black Spike Lee movie because it's too black for me, we would be like, you piece of racist shit. So there's this undercurrent they can't ever admit to. Politically, that also happens.
Yes,
is my point. So they don't think aligning against Biden was ever about anything racial. Like they don't see it as like you said, black people picked this candidate. I preferred all these other people. I Bernie was my guy, and he doesn't really talk about race. But to me, that's not why I'm voting for him, because they don't know subconsciously his message is crafted to not talk about race. So you just get angry about rich people.
Yep.
And then we don't have to discuss anything further than that. And we having to live in this world, we have to see it. That's how we survive.
Yep, that's how we survive.
So I think that is why, like, someone like Hunter Biden, like, calling that shit out, and like not running away from, like, hey, it was black people that picked him and black people that stood beside him. Right. They can't see it. They just think, and all those black people were wrong, and they thought they didn't even understand that our reticence for moving Biden was never about any other candidate. Like, it wasn't like because we hate Kamala. We were like, if your goal is to make Kamala president, which is fine with us,
yes,
you should still vote for Biden. Because if you're saying he's infirmed and he's not going to be able to live out the presidency, guess who's the president after that? Kamala Harris.
Right.
So I don't see the downside you're talking about. It's only the fact that y'all think there's this other better version, because I think truly Joe Biden is probably the Captain America of white politicians. And I don't say that in jest. I think that he's a good, honorable man who genuinely believed in and stood for all this shit, who stood after he made mistakes, stood around, didn't run away.
Yes, he did.
Didn't blame the black people, didn't stop communicating with us, came back to our communities, stood in our face and said, yeah, I fucked that one up, I won't do that again, help me help you, how can I make it better?
Right.
And I think white people will never truly understand that relationship he had with black voters. And now that it's July 2025 and he's still alive, still doing interviews, still out here, this whole like he's a bumbling, stumbling elder abuse victim, it has not come to fruition yet. And none of these motherfuckers will ever go, we got that one wrong, guys. And I think that's what will bother a lot of us till the day we die, is that
I know with me.
And the reason I don't think it's about them holding out on us, I truly think they lack the capacity to say, we called this wrong. They just think, no, he had a bad debate and it's because he was senile or something. Like they don't have anything. They can't accept. Maybe we called this one wrong. Like, not that he didn't have a bad debate. He did.
Right.
They can't understand that the reason you really lose is you blink. Meaning, if Donald Trump had nothing but bad debates,
right,
no one's ever going to not support him.
Right.
And that's how you win. It's not the other way around. He doesn't say the way that people believe in politics is opposite. They think it's a singular figure at the top puts a certain type of demand on society and we all get behind it. And it's the opposite. Society demands up. Meaning, I'm so racist, I don't care that you're a fucking pedophile. I'm voting for you.
Okay, you're rapist. I don't care.
That's how it works. We don't have that same wherewithal on the other side where it's like, I am so pro whatever the cause I am. I don't care that you lost a debate. It just does not matter to me.
It didn't to me.
And so I know. I get it. So I think that's why a lot of us resonated with Hunter. Yeah. And I think white people are going to either brush it off, pretend it doesn't exist, call him a crackhead, whatever. But they're not going to be like, nah, man, that's the right energy and he's right. We owe Biden an apology. And
also, it's one of those things where I think because of that, a lot of white people were very confused by a lot of black people's backlash when Biden stepped down, and a lot of their backlash even more when Kamala lost. I think for them they had a lot of confusion. Like they didn't understand why black people were so angry, so mad, so upset, and a lot of them was very distraught. Because guess what? They had to be around all these angry and upset and bitter black people. Like they had to continue to work with them and still are working with them, and they're still confused as to why a lot of them feel certain ways. And like people, people are working through these emotions, and they're not as intense as they were when after the election, but it doesn't mean that anger it won't always be there. And they don't understand for someone why some of their friendships and relationships with some of these black people changed and or ended because of this, because a lot of them were very adamant about Joe Biden stepping down. They were very adamant about anybody but Kamala and all this stuff. And so, once you get the results, people feel justified. Like you say, results equal justification. People feel justified in their anger and they was like, oh, okay, I see what's happening. Yeah. Obviously, even if they're not part of the problem, you become part of the problem.
Yeah, I think a lot of us said, and I know I said ad nauseum, I don't have a problem moving on to Kamala Harris. I think y'all do. Like, I'm going to do the right thing. I don't trust white people to come through and be like, okay, it's no longer a white man that's running. I'm going to go ahead and vote for it. Mm-hmm. And they didn't. And to me, that's the fundamental problem. And it's going to always be the problem. And the fact that I knew that and you didn't, and yet there's no acknowledgement of that, feels like it's just going to continue to be repeated.
Yeah, and I'm going to talk to what Greg said. And when I said that, I'm talking about people that are actually in the political...
Can you say what he said? Because not everybody can read it.
It says, I don't think they were considering black people's reactions. I'm talking about people that were in political circles.
Right.
Like, that actually have to interact with us. That actually have to have conversations with us, that we have meetings with. I'm talking about that particular group, people that were deep in these polls, like those people that were running for office, like those people. Yes, in mass, no, they don't consider us, but people that have to actually interact, because if you, not trying funny, if you are a Democrat, you're gonna have to interact with black and brown and others. You're gonna have to, because we run this bitch, and regardless of how they feel, we just run it. And so, particularly when it comes to voting and political things, so I think they have to consider what we think. Like it's not an option, and a lot of them are confused by some of the reactions and how we're responding and how we're cutting off or whatever we may be, because a lot of people are very, very angry. That's the group of people I'm talking about. I do understand what you're saying. In masses, no, but in them political circles, they have to interact with us.
And I think it's like two things happening at once, right? They disregarded us, and at the same time, like you said, they can't. I know that they care, because you do see that sentiment around of like, wow, notice that the black people aren't really doing as much as they were. What are black people going to do politically now and all this shit? And it's like, it seemed like y'all really were used to that black support, and it's not just popping right back up like you thought it would. It's not inspired off of this loss.
Yeah, and it's, I was just say,
especially black women.
Yeah, it's not the same, because we've lost before. And before, people kind of dust themselves off and shake off and be like, hey, let's go. And now people are coming back, but it ain't at the same pace. And it's not at the same rate. And people are like, I need a break. And they're like, ain't it business as usual? And people go, no, this time it ain't business as usual.
Because he has a stutter, couldn't magically circumvent Congress and SCOTUS to pass magic legislation, especially because he whooped Bernie's ass in 2020 and stood with black people anyways. I will never stop being mad about that shit, especially from people who were all listening to black people during the George Floyd but refused to do so when it actually mattered. So I'm glad Hunter is correcting the record. I was thinking last night that one of the big problems in politics is that so many people on our side don't actually respect the work of our politicians. Dems get no credit for the good stuff they accomplish, the harms that they mitigate. See Gaza, where Biden's pressure actually staved off the open policies of ethnic cleansing from Israel's hard right that are now going forward because Trump doesn't care. Fuck the uncommitted assholes to eternity. Or even just the amount of character it takes to be a public servant only to be constantly shit on. See all the libelous smears Hillary, Obama, Biden, Kamala have had thrown at them for decades. Anyway, it pisses me off that so many people in our own coalition don't really believe in the good governance they claim to want. Sorry for the long rant. I haven't had much time to chime in recently due to busy work and life and in general, but I'm still listening when I can. Love y'all, John. Thanks, John. Appreciate you. And yeah, man, I get it. Like I said, I don't think there's anything that can be furthered by even having conversation about it. I don't think this is a divide that can be bridged, because I don't think it's a divide that many people recognize in themselves. I think it would just take moral and philosophical wanting to be better people from white people who are already like good. You know what I'm saying? Like people keep trying to turn this into an argument about turning some racist assholes to the left or something. I don't know that that's feasible, but I think even harder than that is getting a white person who's like, hey, I'm typically not a racist person. I want good things. I vote Democrat. I think, like getting that person to go, that's not good enough. I need to be better is much more difficult, I think.
Yeah, it is.
In many ways, because how do you do it without their feelings taking over and being like, I feel bad. I don't like being talked to like this. How do you do it in a way where they would stop and recognize like, shit, that is me. You know what I mean? like, oh damn, I was one of them people that just thought
it would take self-awareness.
And the main thing that we would be trying to convince them of is probably one of the most inconvenient things, which is not that they're necessarily a bad person. Many of them did the right thing; they voted the right way. But telling them like, dog, you can't believe in your fellow white people in the way that you do. We might talk about this later on in the week, but everyone's been really happy about the South Park episode about Trump. And I watched it, and it's like the most white boy humor way of talking about Trump. Like his dick is small, he's fat, that type of thing. I didn't think it was bad, by the way. I know a few people that hate it and all this shit. I thought it was a South Park episode. I thought it was what they do. They were in their bag for South Park. I'm not a South Park hater, but it's not my favorite show or whatever. But the undercurrent of South Park, I guess I'll just talk about it here. Yeah, fuck it. The undercurrent of South Park is this. They are libertarian, both sides are bad kind of white guys. And it comes out in their work. And they're kind of on the we make fun of everybody thing, which is never really true, but you know, whatever, close enough. They're irreverent to all sides.
Right.
And they make fun of trans people. They make fun of black people. They make fun of even Black Lives Matter and stuff. Nothing is off limits for them to make fun.
Right.
And in this episode, it's kind of like the world they wish existed, especially in this post Colbert losing his gig thing, right? This world that they wish existed, the world they tell themselves exists, is that there aren't really any bad white people. There's no bad white men. They're just people who got tricked by Trump. Like, it's not a bad impulse to want to say the R word and the F word. That's not the problem. Those people are still good people. They got a little confused, man. The liberals took away their toys of offensiveness. And so they voted for Trump. And in this episode, they're all getting their Andrew Schultz on. They're now like, what? He's really a piece of shit? I'm mad, and I'm mad at Trump now, and we're all going to go get him, and we're going to get him out of here together. And everyone's coming back together. And I think that is emblematic of something that holds us back as a society, which is like the Andrew Schultzes, your Bill Maher's, your Joe Rogan's. They're good guys who just got a little bit taken by a snake oil salesman. And we don't stop to go, why were they taken?
Right.
And what does that say about them, that getting to say slurs is an exploit that can be exploited all the way to, I'm going to vote you into the White House. We don't stop and question their morality. We can all now just point at Trump and go, what an evil piece of shit, right? Now we're all on the same page. We don't like him. And now everything's happy and we're together and we all down with Trump. And it's not necessarily reflective or indicative of what is happening in our society. A lot of people still going along with this shit. A lot of people, even the ones who are like, I don't like what he's doing with, if you listen to their full clips, their full conversations, in those same conversations, like, nah, I still ain't voting for Kamala.
Right.
I like that. Like, it's not I would vote for. They would vote for him again, but they also don't want to be seen as bad people. That's not good enough.
Yeah, they don't want to be seen as bad people. I'm sorry, I don't want to hear it. If you voted for him, you are a bad person.
So even with the South Park thing, it didn't necessarily land in any place to me. I mean, I get it that it's white boy humor. They like seeing, oh, he's got a little dick, he's fat, he's getting fucked by Satan. It's gonna hurt his feelings. Paramount. The funniest stuff in there is about Paramount to me. Is the idea that Paramount settled this lawsuit and then they signed this big ass $1.5 billion deal with South Park, and then South Park creators immediately made jokes about the network being Trump's bitch. Like, I love that. Don't get me wrong, but it all feels feckless to me. Jokes aren't enough to stop Donald Trump.
No, it is not.
And it makes people feel powerful, but it's not strong enough. And also, comedians can't have it both ways. You can't be Mr. Power, speak truth to power, and satire is the real weapon of the people. We're going to tear down the kings. And at the same time, whenever we call you out on some shit, you go, we're just comedians. Jon Stewart gets offended on Colbert's behalf, and at the same time, Jon Stewart defended Tony Hinchcliffe. Like, to me, that you're just a useful idiot then. Like, who cares that you upset? What does that matter to me? Are you defending the morality of it, or are you just defending another comedian? I don't like, is this just comedians just your thin blue line like the cops? Like, it means nothing to me. But your anger's not righteous either. Anyway, that's my feelings on it.
Okay.
That's it for everything today. We'll be back. Someone asked in an email, like, you guys don't read the Spotify comments. I was like, the episodes are over 2 hours already. I don't want to be here 4 or 5 hours. I like to go to the gym and work out. Like, I feel like we're giving you enough. It can't be that much being said on Spotify that would change what we're saying. And if it's really important, go to theblackouttips.com, leave a comment on the website, go to our YouTube. That's where we're reading emails. We still do those, and voicemails. There's enough ways to reach out, guys.
It is.
If you not discouraging you, if you want to leave comments on Spotify, I ain't gonna stop you, but I don't see them all and I don't respond to them all. All right, y'all, until next time, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye, everybody.